Mercy.
Mercy.
Hello, and welcome back.
To the Minimum Wage Podcast.
Where even the name is above our pay grade.
Episode 3.
Yeah, season 1.
I don't think we're going to be doing seasons.
No, we're not doing seasons.
Okay, good.
I was just thinking, on Netflix is always like season 1, episode 2, season 1, episode 3. They all have seasons.
Right.
Why don't they just have episodes?
Because what's the fun in that?
Well, I mean, you could just have episodes and then you take a break after episode 10.
Well,
something like that.
there are even some shows that have seasons technically that whenever they're posted online just do episodes. For example, Hunter x Hunter, that actually has different seasons, but when it was posted on Crunchyroll, they just did all the episodes.
All the episodes. Actually, I do think that they might have them labeled by season.
Right.
Doesn't matter, though.
It just doesn't sort it. But yeah, it doesn't matter. What difference does it make?
Yeah, especially in the day and age where you can watch all your content back to back.
As a matter of fact, I think it makes it more confusing. It's episode 3, season, well,
Yeah,
which
it's
one was
super odd. If I'm on episode 10, I should watch episode 11 next.
Right. Not
Season 1, episode 1.
Or season 2, episode 1.
Yeah, lol. Yeah, you definitely should not watch season 1, episode 1 after you're done with 10.
That probably, wouldn't make sense in the timeline. Or
Bro.
maybe it would. There are some shows that are all about messing with time.
What's the thing with Star Wars? Star Wars has a weird timeline going on, do they not?
So the first 3 movies took place after the next 3, and then
So you're talking about 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, those are the
took place before 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like that's one where
Ask George, man.
They could have taken the creative liberty to title them correctly.
I don't know.
Or quite possibly not even give them a title so that people would just learn this is the order.
Much unlike the online world, they couldn't have just posted an update and then changed all the things. People had to go buy the discs or whatever they would have, and so they, you couldn't really change the naming system after it was set in stone.
Did they produce episodes 1, 2, and 3 before the other ones?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why it makes sense.
Yeah.
I was like, why are they just out here putting 4 episode 4? Yeah.
Why are they out here putting things all backwards now?
Why are they out here doggone misnaming things and whatnot?
It's wild.
Wild, right? So then with the new ones, the ones made by Disney.
Right, which is a controversial topic in and of itself, which we will not be getting into on this podcast, maybe into another podcast. And if we do get into it, I'm not very invested in that realm. And
what's that overarching topic? You're talking about just Disneyfication of things or what?
Well, we could do an episode about just what Disney be doing, or we could do an episode about Star Wars. And if we did an episode about Star Wars, I'm not the most invested in that topic, but if we could find someone,
Micah?
Oh, imagine
we
get Mike on the pod. Just talk about lots of Star Wars.
That would be incredible. Yeah, he'd be the guy for it, though.
Honestly,
he's so much more invested than either of us I think we'll ever be.
Oh, yeah. I could go home and do weeks of research, and he would still have me beat.
Yeah, you would even be on his level. He'd be in a different echelon.
Honestly.
And an upper echelon, too.
Lord.
Lord have mercy. Man, yeah, so Star Wars, that's a weird one where it was the first ones were created by somebody different than the most recent ones. What are some other things that are like that?
That is a good question. I cannot think of any off the top of my head.
Interesting. But that kind of goes back to what we were talking about in the second pod where the original people can't do it, so therefore nobody can do it. I do
we talk about that?
Yeah, because we were talking about you proposing a Christmas festival type thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. We talked about that?
Yeah.
I actually haven't listened back on that podcast yet.
No way.
Yeah,
and you're the one creating the timestamps and stuff.
I'm doing that later today,
Okay,
I got time. Trust. Listen, guys.
You're telling me I'm pressing you right now.
Well, no, it's more like I put it off. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so...
if it's anyone's fault, it's mine.
it's kind of like that, but I much prefer somebody else to be able to take the reins because I think they can make something even better potentially than the first person.
Well, we can tie this back to the great Hunter x Hunter. The creator of that, Yoshihiro Togashi, he does all of the, so in terms of the animation, he doesn't do all that because that'd be a lot for one guy to do. But he does all of his manga. He does all of the art.
Wow.
And he writes all the stories. Like, it's all him.
And then is the Hunter x Hunter, the series, based like almost purely off the manga?
So, depends on whether or not you watched the 1998 one. I think it was 1998. Don't quote me on that. I'll probably link it. Or the recent ones. The earlier one was not based on the manga very much. Like,
what did that one have going on?
If you watched it, you would not think it was the same show if it didn't have like the same people's names. Like, they take the story just a completely different direction.
What? Why?
I don't know why. Like, just the Hunter exam arc is so different.
Like, different from the manga and the new one? I guess, yeah, because the new one's based off the manga.
Now, the new one doesn't like religiously follow what's in the manga because you have to adapt it somewhat to be an anime. And the first time it goes off of what's in the manga is actually on episode 1.
On episode 1?
So we're just not going to acknowledge that?
No.
I thought we were going to at least acknowledge it, but okay.
Why?
I don't know. I mean,
because
I feel like...
those that are listening at home will never know.
Yeah, but it's like part of lore, you know?
All right,
I
guess.
Canon.
So, when I said episode 1 right there, there was actually a 5-minute gap in between him saying episode 1 and me saying episode 1. That was and believe it or not, we had to change a chord out.
Yeah, we have these chords that look nice because they got nice little, you know, yellow and orange colors.
They got some nice colors to them.
But they're trash. And they buzz.
Trash, bro. So I thought that for sure, like that one. So the one that I just had attached to my mic was the orange cord. And the orange cord, we haven't really used at all. And the other one that I was using, the yellow cord, we used like 10 different podcasts.
More than 10, bro.
That's facts. Yeah, it's been like 15. Dang, bro. We've done a lot. We've done a lot that will never see the light of day.
Exactly. But you know what? Practice.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I had the brown cord. And that one was making noise too. So all 3 of our beautifully colored cords have decided to stop working.
How unfortunate, bro.
And now we're using these black cords, you know, lacking color, but they're much, much higher quality.
Yeah. What they lack in color, they make up for in quality.
By far.
Yeah. And if you actually listen to the last podcast, near the end, I think we're like maybe 15 minutes out from the end of the podcast. Might be actually a little bit more than that if my memory does not serve me. And the cord just went out. And like no buzz all the way up until like maybe like 45, 50 minutes. And then out of nowhere, buzz.
That's wild.
Yeah, so I was there in the editing room. Like, you'll hear some crazy stuff going on near the end of that podcast. Now that you know about it, go back and listen. Because if you didn't notice the first time, that's great. Now I guarantee you'll notice something weird was going on with my audio.
And if you did notice, then your name is probably Tim. So
yeah, good on you, Tim.
Yep.
Yeah, give him a little clap. That's one thing that it is so hard to clap while you're holding a microphone. Oh my God. You should see the contortion that John just did. He just put the microphone underneath his chin. It's like sandwiched between his chin and his shoulder and then clapped by it.
Well, actually, I think a lot easier way is to just put it like between your legs.
There you go. Yeah, there are ways to do it. I will say there are ways to do it if you get creative.
There are ways to do it, but they're not optimal, I guess.
No, I would say mic stand would be by far the most optimal.
Which we definitely don't have any of those.
Yeah, we're literally sat here looking at 3 different mics. We're looking at 5 different mic stands in front of us.
Mercy. Wait, those are mic stands? Why are we using those? Those things are lit.
No, those are like they aren't as lit as they look, bro. So we're looking at some old ass mic stands in the corner right here. There's a reason why they're in the corner. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Yeah, the joints are super bad. Like the especially the one that like bends the arm from the straight up part. Horrible.
That's not good.
Yeah, it will not stick anywhere where you try and hold it.
Yikes. Oh, voice crack.
Yep. Get some water. Get a little water down the tank. Fix that voice. Yeah. Did you run today?
No.
Are you going to?
No, because I'm doing yard work.
That'll do it.
In and of itself is.
That'll elevate your heart rate.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, bro. So I actually today have already ran and lifted.
Wonderful.
And I'm feeling great, but I haven't eaten yet.
Ooh. Now, I do want to say, probably loop it back to episode 1.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Now,
while we're talking about the manga.
It's time to do a good old square back, as we do here.
Exactly. We popped a pin in it, and now we're squaring back.
Exactly. Which we're getting better at, you know? Yes.
Absolutely.
But
really, yay for you, because you're the one doing the timestamps.
Yeah. But yeah, in episode 1, it opens with Gon on Whale Island, and it's like he gets ready to go leave to take the hunter exam. I forgot what the opening scene is. Gon catches the Lord of the Lake, which is a big fish, which was what his dad caught before he went off and became a hunter. But we're not given a reason as to like why he wants to become a hunter.
You're talking about in the 1998 version, the first one?
I'm talking about in like most recent version. So like
I don't remember that part.
While he's like, yeah, my dad's a hunter, so I want to be like my dad and be a hunter. But like, why would he want to be like his dad who left him? So
I thought he wanted to find his dad. I thought like that was the whole thing.
But he doesn't really. So he never really like receives that quest like from anyone. There's actually a earlier event that happens in the manga where, well, actually, you see it later, in the Ant arc whenever he meets Kite. I flashes back to Gon in the woods with a bear, and like he gets attacked by the bear's mama, and then Kite has to come and like shoot the bear's mama and is forced to like kill. And Kite is the first hunter that he sees. He's like, oh my gosh, I want to be like a hunter like my dad. And then he goes off and does all that stuff. But we don't get that context in that 2000 anime. I don't know what it's like, 2000 something, but
you're talking about the new one?
Yeah.
So you were talking about the old one. In the old one, you saw that.
I don't think you did either. I haven't watched much of the old one. I do know the old one is really gay.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Hisoka type?
No, like Gon and all the main characters are just slapping booty. You're seeing a whole lot of booty, you know.
And it's so weird too, because Gon is like a little boy.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I don't know. That Japanese culture is something else.
It really is.
Something else, man. But hey, where would we be without Hunter x Hunter?
Where would we be without Hondas? No. What about my great Toyotas?
Yeah, Toyota. I know where we'd be without Honda. We'd be buying Toyota.
But where would we be without Toyota?
God forbid. God forbid. That's a world I don't even want to imagine.
Honestly.
Honestly, anybody can back me up on this if they've ever owned a Toyota.
Dude,
they're so reliable.
I love me a good Toyota.
I love me even a shitty Toyota will be better than a good Ford.
Yeah, dude, something about Fords, they're just different.
They're not made well, I guess.
They just feel different. Like, I've never been in a car that felt so different whenever I was like trying to drive it than any other car.
Really? You're talking about like the way you're sitting in the seat, the way you're holding the steering wheel,
Like
the way the stocks feel.
just the way the like brake pedal feels, the gas pedal feels.
Yeah.
It's just all different. Everything's different, and I don't like it.
Huh, that's interesting. One thing I've realized is like the minivans,
Mm-hmm.
there's like zero
Ooh.
play. So basically, pedal to the metal is immediate. It's crazy, bro. Like as soon as you even tap that gas pedal, if you're in a minivan, you're gonna get all the power it's got. Doggone it. It's gonna be whipping. And that gets me into trouble sometimes when I'm driving my mom's van. She has a lovely Toyota Sienna.
Yeah, no. My mom also has a lovely Toyota. The Toyota Sienna.
Yes.
It is a very good car. You touch that gas pedal and you're.
I swear, like, I try and squeal tires, like on not even on purpose. The car tries to squeal tires.
Yeah, I've squealed tires on accident before.
And it's a freaking minivan.
It's a minivan, and they whip.
They do
I mean,
whip.
they absolutely
they go.
tear up the streets.
They tear them apart, dear Lord.
It's wild.
Yeah, it blows my mind because like going from a CRV, which is what I have, a Honda CRV, to my mom's Toyota Sienna, there is like unimaginable difference between the amount of play between pedal to the metal and like just going a little bit.
Yeah, I have a Pontiac Grand Prix, and for some reason I forgot why I had to drive the van. And I just remember I was unintentionally just zooming because I would touch this pedal and I just
No, yeah. You look down at the speedo and you're going 95.
It's like,
You're
whoa,
"What?"
what's going on here?
The problem is too with those, it's a compounding effect where you go quick and also they ride very smoothly.
Yeah, no, they're so smooth.
They're so smooth on the road, so you do be going 95, feeling like it's 40.
Now, granted, my car also rides pretty smoothly, aside from the squeaky noise, man. That squeaky noise.
Can you locate what area it's coming from in the car?
Behind me. That's all.
Behind you, that's all you know. So it's not from the engine. We like that.
Yeah, not from the engine, which is good.
Have you messed with the AC at all?
Yeah, I mess with the AC a bit.
And does it mess with the noise?
Doesn't mess with the noise.
What in the world?
Wild.
I'm wondering, does it sound like it's outside of the car?
I can't tell. Like maybe not.
Dude, when we finish this up, we're gonna have to go out there and give a nice examine.
Yes, we'll have to examine the old Pontiac and make sure that she's doing nice things, not making sounds like she's gonna be breaking.
Yeah, that's facts. When they start making sounds like they're gonna be breaking, that always scares me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
we were talking about. Are we squaring back to Hunter x Hunter now?
Well, we could be squaring back to what we said we were going to talk about before the podcast. Reading.
Yeah. So I want y'all to comment down below if y'all read. And that I'm not saying like if you read every day. I'm saying like given any random week of the 52 you get in a year, will you pick up a book or an audiobook, I guess, if that's what you do?
Or if you're like me and you just read a bunch of articles.
I guess that still counts as reading. So, yeah, now I want you to tell us if you read A and B what you read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Wonderful.
So, I'll tell you A, I read every day.
Mm.
And B, I read mostly self-help. Like, I've never been a fiction fan. I think it all stemmed from the fact that I would never, like, I always hated reading. I would have summer reading for school, and I would never do that bullshit. I'd say, miss me with that. I've got my summer. What am I reading? What am I sat there, like, spending hours and hours reading for?
Well, in our school in particular, we never did anything during the year that revolved around the reading over the summer. Usually you do stuff around it. So it's like, why would you ever want to read that whenever you don't do anything anyways?
Yeah. It's a waste of your time.
Yeah.
There was one time, I remember, it must have been 6th, going into 7th, we had some assigned reading, and it was like the book Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry.
Oh, yeah. I actually think I read that one, and that one was
I was going to say, good. Yeah, so I read that one. And believe it or not, the one time that I actually read it, we have like in-class like reading quiz type thing.
Oh.
And I'm like, what?
There you go.
The first time, but like that was the last time I ever read the book as far as I can remember.
I think I read. Actually, I know I didn't read about half of them, but the other half I read. I would just look at it and see if it looked interesting, and if it looked interesting, then I would read it.
Yeah, but I think stemming from that, I always just thought fiction waste of my time.
I enjoyed the Great Percy Jackson series. I read them
Ah,
all. I've read them all like 4 or 5 times.
wow.
Just a well written story.
Yeah, I actually do remember reading The Lost Hero, I think is what it's called.
Rick Riordan.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, there was one called.
Is that the first one?
That's the first one of not the Percy Jackson series. Percy is not a character in that book.
Huh.
That follows some other people on their quest, and they eventually will find Percy through stuff that happens.
Well, speaking of Tim, actually, I remember I was at
Speaking
Tim's
of Tim.
house. I was at Tim's house
Mhm.
when I was probably like 8, 10, somewhere around there. Found that book, started reading. I got like 40 pages into it. I was like, wow, this is pretty good.
Mhm.
Set it down and never picked it up again. Never picked it up again.
Yeah, Rick also had the Egyptian series. That was
Yeah.
pretty good. That was cool. And then he had an Asgardian series. That one was good too.
Asgardian.
Yeah. And then he has his newest one, which is like some sort of Asian one. I don't like that one as much. Not being racist here, just like I just don't like how it's written. So
Yeah. I don't know how that could be racist. Just don't like how it's written. But
some people.
It is the internet. People get mad at you for anything. So
I know.
that's why I don't apologize for anything anymore.
It's like, yeah, you know what? Honestly, just get mad at me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't care.
For real, you can handle a little heat.
To be honest, I've heard it all. I've been called it all.
Have you been called it all?
Just about.
All right. Well, so now you have.
Wow. All right, that's offensive. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you're
That's
getting
it.
canceled.
You're getting canceled.
You're getting canceled.
You're getting
Anything that you try and do in the future is gonna be marred by this.
Yes, because he called me. You know what? We might need to censor that.
Yeah, we're gonna bleep that out.
We should bleep it. No one's ever gonna know.
No one's ever gonna know the fact that I just used the word.
Yeah. Well, reading. So, I used to read for just purely entertainment. Now I read for education and for entertainment, but I find education entertaining.
Yep.
So it's like I get to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, which mostly revolve. Okay, English, please work for me. Which mostly revolves around. You know what? I'm still messed up these words.
That was right. How is that wrong?
I don't know.
Which mostly revolve.
I think I said.
Shit, you got me. You got me
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
Which
So,
mostly revolves around.
what? Wait.
Now what are
Is
we
that a
even
tongue
saying?
twister? All right. So I read a bunch of educational stuff because I like doing research, but I enjoy it because it's about topics that I'm interested in. It's not like I'm being forced to read it. English just wasn't working for me. But yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. I don't know how it was so difficult to say that.
Thank you, English.
But yeah, I don't know. English is awful.
Yeah, it's a horrible language. That's why I'm so glad it was the first one that I learned.
Yeah, because if not, there's no way I would have ever.
I would never. I would see this if I was a Spanish speaker. I mean, anything, legit anything. If I was a Spanish, German,
If I spoke Arabic, Russian, freaking Japanese.
yeah, it doesn't matter. If I took one look at the English language, I would say, "Yep, not for me."
Pretty much.
Not for me. You drive on the parkway, you park on the driveway. That alone, if I was a foreigner, I'd say, what?
My phone just translated freaking from English to Japanese.
Edoku.
And not my phone, my watch.
Yeah, I guess it was your phone because your watch is connected to your phone.
Well, yeah, but it could also be hooked up
To the Wi-Fi.
to the Wi-Fi. Yeah. But dude, I can't get rid of this gray square.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm on this beta version.
Misa loved the beta.
Gotta
Even
love
if
the
you
beta.
change to different faces.
Yeah, it just comes back up.
Wow. So he was showing me his phone just now, and on the bottom quadrant, like the bottom third of his phone, he's got just a gray square. It looks like the notification thing, like when you pull down the notification thing on the right.
Now, if I was to play some music here, which I'm not going to actually be playing it on the home screen, right? It comes up there, and if I tap on this, it actually makes it the background, and it changes with whatever's playing. Oh, but again, it's really buggy.
Now that is something that I cannot wait to use.
Yeah,
It's super buggy.
it's really buggy.
Wow.
But yeah, it's gonna be really cool whenever it works.
Yeah, I like to see what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but yeah, we're already talking about Apple again.
Well, let me explain that. Let me explain that one a little further though, because they weren't seeing that. I was. So on his screen right now, if he starts playing any type of song, he has the ability to click like the album cover on his home screen, and it'll expand out the album cover to be his background on his home screen.
Which changes with whatever song is playing.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
That is sick.
Yeah.
You can just open up your phone and immediately you know.
As of right now, it's busted. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it does. It usually doesn't. But it's a beta version of iOS.
Yeah.
Once they release it, it'll probably run a lot better. This beta version that they're running, it's the public beta 2. It's a lot better than public beta 1. Let me tell you that much, because I don't know what they were doing in public beta 1, but they were draining my battery.
Yeah.
This one does much less stuff.
How long would you say you would get?
It would not last all day. I'll tell you that much.
Which is crazy. You
Yeah.
got the iPhone
11 Pro.
11 Pro should last all day.
Max battery charge, even though I think we already talked about this on a previous podcast. Let's see if it's changed at all.
True.
Oh, wait. What?
No
wait,
way.
16.0?
Is that... Don't you already have past 16.0?
Well, it was iOS 16 public beta 2, but it didn't have like a point behind it. I just popped into the mic. I apologize. That's the only thing I will apologize for on this podcast, is going... Now he has to edit that. Maximum capacity, 85%. Okay. Yeah. But
Motherfucker. Just making my job harder, dude.
Well, look, everything you mentioned, I have to go link, so,
That is facts, yeah.
So if you just bring up a bunch of random topics.
I'm just about to bring up, when I bring up the books, you're going to be linking.
All the books are getting linked, which I might have to text you to, help me come up with those links.
Yeah. So, you read mostly just, educational articles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's, your go-to?
Yep.
Where are you finding these articles?
All over. So one of the great places, there's this place called Real Clear Science. Real Clear Science, great website.
Real Clear Science.
Yeah, it's this email thing where every day you sign up for it and you get emailed 10 articles. I usually never end up reading all 10. I also am signed up for this one called Real Clear History. Yeah, here we go. These two emails in my feed right here. Pretty much what it does is it gives you a list of 10 articles that have been published very recently, and you can go through and read them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is actually pretty cool.
And so it saves me the time of having to go and look for them. But I'll also, really, it just depends on, I usually choose some random interest that I have, and I go online and I start digging.
Wow. These are all super interesting titles.
I know.
People aren't ditching beef for plant-based meats.
It's wild.
Why do we die? Backyard chicken eggs contain 40 times more lead? What? That is one thing.
That's interesting.
That is super interesting.
Yeah, I'll probably end up reading all those ones that you just mentioned. Now, again, these are our...
How to prove the Big Bang with an old TV set, as well as, that's right underneath, James Webb data contradicts the Big Bang.
Right, so... These articles, right, how science works is just because someone published something in an article doesn't mean it's true, because you have to have peer review. So just because you read something in an article doesn't mean that is the fact of the matter. You have to wait till people go back and test it again and publish their own articles, and then peer review, and then they meet in their fancy council. They talk about what is true and what is not true. And sometimes we make these things called laws, and other times we don't.
So now, a little further down, I'm reading this headline. Even a cyclical universe needed to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's facts.
Yeah, no.
That's the biggest problem with the Big Bang.
This is what I don't. Well, I don't think that the Big Bang is necessarily like a problem.
No, that's the biggest problem with the theory. Because where did the material for the Big Bang come from?
Well, that's the thing, is they usually just say like, "Oh, it was already there," and it's like, okay, well, you can't just say,
Yeah,
like you know,
can't just already be there.
there had to be something there, and the something that would have been there is the thing that we would call God.
Yeah, absolutely. The creator of our universe.
I am who am.
Good quote. Solid quote right there. I am who am.
Also, Jesus wept.
Yes. That is a great one for our time.
Yes.
Jesus wept. I guarantee you Jesus is weeping a lot more in the 21st century than ever before.
Oh, yes.
Because I'm weeping and I'm not even close to Jesus.
I'm not even in the same ballpark. I'm not even in the same sport as Jesus, but
I'm still
I'll tell
weeping.
you what, I'm still weeping.
On a daily basis, dear Lord.
Mercy.
Every time I walk out my door.
I'm like,
oh man, just
Oh,
have
just blew in the
to
mic.
let out a good cry.
every time I look around, one tear just,
Every time I go to the nearest Walmart.
Wait, what is it about the nearest Walmart that makes you
The
cry?
nearest Walmart so much. Actually, one thing I can say that I'm not weeping about is the music they play. Bangers every time.
Bangers.
And alright, this is one thing. Sorry for getting off topic, but
Oh yeah, we're talking about reading.
their speakers are insane. I need one of them because they're so small.
I think they're JBLs.
They've got to be. They've got to be, dude.
No way, they're not JBLs.
No way, they're not. But they're so small yet produce so much noise. You can be in the back of the parking lot.
And it's high quality.
Yeah, they're not bad quality speakers.
They're incredible.
Yeah, they're so small for the amount of volume they produce. They're unrivaled.
And then there's just like Walmart Radio, which is just like a great radio station. Why is it not like publicly available? Is it publicly available? Hang on.
Where are they getting all these songs from?
I'm gonna go check Spotify.
The question I've always had is like, is that somebody's playlist every day or
Walmart? No way.
No way, they've got it?
there's a Spotify playlist with all the Walmart music.
Oh my god.
I'm linking that. Yeah, go check the
Check out
video
the Walmart
description.
bangers, bro.
Check out the Walmart Music 2022 in-store music. I mean,
the craziest thing is, well, I guess, is it in-store music?
there's a difference between. Oh, and there's also Walmart Radio right here. Constantly updating list of the songs they play on Walmart Radio. Wait a minute. This is the user who made this is called Minecraft Magic 05. I don't think that's the one we're looking for. This one is made by Store Music, so I believe this one a whole lot more. But I don't think there's a difference between the in-store and the out-of-store music. But like, look at this playlist. It's got like Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm just looking for ones that I recognize. So they got Red Hot Chili Peppers, so it's inherently good. Yeah, these just look like some good songs, man. Yeah. Well, that was bro, they got Billie Jean in here.
Of course, bro.
Love that.
They've got all the bangers.
They got all sorts of Michael Jackson. Yeah, what the heck? This is an incredible playlist.
I know. I don't know who makes it.
God bless him.
God bless the man or woman.
It's only got 310 likes. I'm liking this.
There you go. Yeah, and we're going to link it so y'all can have the enjoyment of listening to our Walmart music.
Yeah, because Walmart music is just great.
Filled with bops. I very often will go to the Walmart and find a song that I actually want to listen to. And that, I can't say the same for any other store.
Yeah, there aren't a whole lot of, like, I like whenever stores play background music. It elevates the experience of just doing whatever you're doing by that much more.
Everything's better with music.
Yeah. And in fact, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you, but I know I haven't mentioned it on the pod. One thing that I'm looking forward to is when we have like something like the Apple glasses that can like read whatever is going on around you and then have like an AI that plays adaptive background music based off whatever is happening.
Interesting. That would literally make your life a video game.
Right. Which would just be sick because again, background music just elevates the experience that much more.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. If you're in a fight, it's literally playing like the suspense.
It just
music.
starts playing some like fight music, man. That'd be
Imagine
incredible.
if you're like you're like yelling, like your mom's yelling at you or something. Like music intensifies. Yes, man, that might get annoying sometimes.
You could like turn it off, obviously.
Yeah, that would be a feature for a certain select number of people.
Yeah, not everyone would like that, which is why I don't think it'll ever really be a thing.
You'd have to make that.
Bro, that'd be so complicated. Because how would you train it to know when it needs to change that music?
And the hardest thing would be too, you'd be putting it on somebody else's hardware. Because you want to use like something that's already out, that's going to be massively adopted already.
Right. And you need to find the right hardware that has all the right components that you need, and then you got to work with that hardware's architecture, which is just, and
It's all a problem.
I'm sure the Apple glasses are going to have a very unique architecture.
Unique to say the least.
I actually don't think they're going to have cameras, though. They're going to have LiDAR.
Okay.
Not cameras, because you have to have LiDAR, because if it's going to be AR,
you have to know what's around you.
Right. That's
you cannot
important.
make the reality if you don't know the reality.
Exactly. And rumor has it that we're talking about Apple again. Okay, we should probably get back to reading. All right, we'll save talking about, maybe next podcast we just talk about Apple and we just get as much of the
next
Apple
one was going to be AI.
I don't know. Apple's
down the road. Apple's got to get its own podcast.
I'm going to make an Excel sheet where we're going to just have a list of all of our ideas for podcasts.
Yeah.
And then we can try to set in the order that we're going to do.
Or we could just do a shared note.
A shared note. I'm going to make that right now.
Please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, while you're doing that, let me talk about some of the books that I've read. So, starting last summer, really, I had never been a big reader until I realized last summer, this is 1 year post-graduation, and I finally realized reading isn't that bad. The thing is, for me, I get bored very quickly with tasks, so I've just cut down my reading time to be 20 minutes. So I can read for 20-minute spurts, no problem. But the second I sit down and try to read for an hour, no way. I cannot get past 40 minutes. No way, no how, dude. So what I did in Kenya last summer while I was there was, that was also another thing. I was in Kenya. What else are you going to freaking do? What else are you going to do other than read? You're not going to be going to Walmart, I guarantee that. You're not going to be doing a whole lot. And also, I'm not going to be hanging out with my friends. Now, I've got my friends over there, but all of them have jobs and whatnot. And also, it's on a different time zone from America, of course. So all of my friends in America were on their own things. And so I wouldn't talk to anybody, really. And I would just have plenty of time on my hands to be able to read. And while I was there, I read probably 8 books. And the best one that I read by far was a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That one is quite possibly the best book I will ever read, or at least the most useful, because it explains, rather than the art of communication or any other skill like that, it's the skill of dealing with people. And that is a skill, no matter what your walk of life is, you're going to have to deal with people. That's an invaluable skill to have, and one that I realized I was pretty bad at until I began reading the book. And so from that, it sent me on this year-long journey up till now. I've just started rereading the book again. So from that year, I can see, my mindset has changed completely. And reading the book now, I'm picking up on things that I did not pick up on the first time. So in a year, Lord knows where we'll be.
Rereading books is always a good idea, because there's so many words in that thing, you're going to miss something.
Oh, no doubt.
If
that book is even 100 pages long,
yeah,
you're going to miss plenty of it.
Yeah.
It's like, what's that old saying? When you're talking to somebody, they're only picking up 50% of it.
Yeah. Well,
And there are a lot of people out here, I could tell a 20 max.
Sometimes it's like 10, you know?
Yeah, depending. You can just see the light leave their eyes.
Well, which is always hilarious, yet very
It's
annoying.
pretty sad and annoying.
it's funny, but it's also sad and annoying.
So many emotions when you see that happen.
It's just like,
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
you realize maybe I shouldn't be talking to you because you're wasting both of our time.
honestly. Yeah.
I'm glad that I've never seen the light. In all my years of talking to John, I've never seen the light leave his eyes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I just saw him like thinking we're gonna have to change that.
Exactly. It's like,
Yeah, I just saw the light leave his eyes.
That's wild.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That man's locked in.
Love that.
Anyway, so with you in the fiction realm, dude,
Yeah.
what's some insane books you read?
I don't know. I really just like the Percy Jackson series and most of Rick Rowan's work. That's pretty good.
Have you branched out any further from the fiction?
I really don't read a lot of fiction anymore.
Really? So mostly just what you're reading is like the educational,
Mm.
the
And I spend
articles.
a lot of time watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Both for entertainment and for educational entertainment.
Yeah. That's a great place for it.
Yeah, it's honestly probably the best. There's just so much.
Facts.
Now, obviously, you have to fact check it, but
That is true because anybody can make a YouTube video.
exactly. But anyone can make a documentary. Not like anyone, but people can get money.
Yeah, it's true. If you can find people that want to see the documentary,
Exactly.
and there's a lot of things on Netflix where I'm like, what? Who the hell
What?
made this? Who gave the funding for this? One thing in particular, though, have you seen the Fire Festival documentary?
No, but I've heard of it.
So there was this festival that was gonna be like proposed to rival Coachella. Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard of Coachella.
Yeah, supposed to rival Coachella. Absolute disaster.
There's so many links.
Yeah, just link the Fire Festival documentary.
Exactly. Just gonna link everything.
Yeah, so that one I would definitely recommend watching. It kind of details how exactly it played out and why exactly it played out the horrible way that it did. Anyway, I think that watching things, you can learn maybe even a little bit more than books. The difference is books, people take years to write. Nobody that makes a documentary is going to take like years to film it, years to edit it. Like,
Right.
it's not like that. It's going to be like probably filmed in a couple weeks, couple months maybe, edited, and then released within probably less than 5 years of the beginning of production.
Right.
But there are so many books that people took 20 years to write. They compounded their knowledge for 20 years and put it all into one book.
Mm-hmm.
And that is more valuable.
Right. But the sheer mass of what you can learn, which usually I watch videos, I glean the basic information from that video about whatever topic they were talking about. I'll probably watch more videos about that topic, and then after that, I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna go on the web and go do my own research and find my own articles about this and read it. And if I really, really feel like it, I may even get myself a book about it.
So you basically use the YouTube videos as a research starter tool.
Yeah.
It gets your mind thinking about a topic.
Plus, it's also a place where I can learn about something less in depth whenever I'm like not in a position to like sit there and give my full attention. Like, okay, this is like I'm reading right now, because you can't really read and do something else.
Yeah, that is fact.
But I can listen to or watch a YouTube video or a podcast. By the way, this is a plug for Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World. Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World is this great podcast where he talks about all sorts of mysterious things.
I've actually never heard of that.
What? That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Link it down below.
I will do. But yeah, he is he used to be like I forgot what he was Protestant, but I forgot which one.
What denomination?
And then now he's Catholic. But what he does is he takes a mystery and he looks at it from the views of both faith and reason.
Interesting.
So there are times where like faith isn't involved at all. Like no, like yeah, this has nothing to do with faith. This is just like, okay, what happened here?
Can you give an example?
He talks about, well, let's just so for instance, he talks about the great King Tut. That doesn't really have anything to do with our faith.
Yeah,
That's really just like what happened.
it's history.
You know. But yeah, he's got hundreds of episodes, and they're all really interesting. You can trust what he says to largely be true because he does tons of research.
That's awesome.
He reads like a bunch of books. He looks at all the major points of view on something.
Yeah.
And then, he talks about all of them and compares and contrasts. And then he finds out, okay, well, what's true here?
That's super cool. That really is like similar to how people write books. They
Yeah.
take all of the viewpoints on a certain subject and amalgamate all that knowledge into one central thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. How long are the podcasts?
They range from about 50 minutes to an hour, up to 2 hours. So like, I'm looking at some of them here. This one's like an hour and 20 minutes. That one's 2 hours because that one's just a special one. This one's about an hour and 17 minutes, hour 23, 51 minutes.
So rough, like 50
Right.
minutes to 2 hours.
Which, like, even if you're not a Catholic, there's still a whole bunch of other stuff on there that's just about, like, just the reason parts of it that are just really extremely interesting. Even if you're an atheist, there's just still some cool stuff on there.
Yeah, so Jimmy Akins?
Yeah, Jimmy Akins' Mysterious World. Made
Sounds
by
pretty
the
dope.
StarQuest Production Network.
StarQuest Production Network.
Yes.
What's ours?
Do we have a production
The
network?
Minimum Wage Production Network. I don't know, dude.
Might have to come up. Well, we wouldn't need a production network unless we made more than one podcast.
You know what I just realized?
What?
All of our stuff might be like in the public domain because we haven't copyrighted anything. I don't know how YouTube videos work, but when we move into Spotify and things like that, we might actually have to start copyrighting things.
I think there's like a Commons option.
There's a Creative Commons option on YouTube.
I think as long as it's not in Creative Commons,
We still have the rights to it.
I think so. Do we need the rights to it?
I guess no. Of course
I
not.
mean,
We're not monetizing or anything. So
yeah.
no.
We're not going wild.
It's not like music where you've put so much time and effort into a song.
Yeah.
If somebody takes it, it would be catastrophic.
Right. If someone's taking our podcast, I mean, that's kind of lame. But like, we'll just make more,
That's facts, yeah.
We're just gonna out more. Maybe, I don't know if we get like a sponsorship at some point. I don't even think, that's just completely different. Bro, someone should sponsor me, honestly, though. Like, I'm a
Yes.
walking advertisement.
I'm legit I'm trying to get sponsored by Nalgene. You see me
yeah?
with this Nalgene bottle wherever I go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I take pictures with it wherever I go.
Like, if I find a good product, I will advertise it off the face of the earth.
exactly.
Not even getting paid. If you paid me,
Game over.
game over.
Game over.
Everyone's buying that
Game
product.
over, bro. If I find a product that I like, fast forward like, I don't know, maybe 4 months down the road, all my friends have it. That's just the bottom line.
Now, I got this water bottle right
Yeah.
here.
Now with Nalgene, it's slightly different. Everybody's got their own little water bottle preference.
Right. I like metal ones.
Yeah.
And he's got a plastic one. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Because I don't like cold water.
I love cold water.
There you go.
So, there you have it. This man just wants a bottle for his water. I want a little fridge for my water.
Exactly. You want a mini fridge.
I want a mini fridge for my water. Imagine like that they built like a mini fridge. Okay, what is this? Where do you
All right. So back to what we were talking about. You've read a lot of fiction, but is there one book that stands out to you as like, this is the book that I can recommend to anybody who's read fiction or not?
Wow. So that's a wild question because usually whenever I hate having to like be forced to pick one of something because I am of a view that things are different but not
Worse.
right. Well, there's no like best movie
Yeah.
because you just can't compare like, okay, this movie is the best at what it tries to do.
Yeah, and then you're in different moods.
Right. Like, okay, this is a happy movie. This is a sad movie. You can't really compare those.
Yeah.
This is a horror movie. This is a science fiction movie. You can't really compare those. And even then, they're all trying to tell their own story to come to their own separate ends. It's a case of being different, not being better.
Yeah. That being said, which one's the best?
Man, I'm gonna have to think about this now. A book that I would just recommend to anyone to read.
Anybody
To read.
Anybody, any age.
Any age.
Well, maybe not. Well, I mean, we'll say like they have to be able to read.
Right,
It's not a picture book that we're looking for.
Read Curious George,
Yeah. Read The Hungry Caterpillar.
Yeah, it's wild. I would have to go with. Can it just be like a book series?
Yeah, that's fine.
Read the Gods of Olympus series.
Is that Rick Riordan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rick Riordan.
Read the Gods of Olympus series.
Yeah.
If you were to give like a top 3 though, would all the top 3 be in there?
I like some of the Egyptian ones. I forgot the names, so I can't really, that's not very helpful. But
I thought the last one is House of Hades, if I do remember correct.
that is the fourth one.
They have more?
Not the last one. There is one afterwards. Yeah, I forgot what it's called, but I know that's one after. But the House of Hades is an incredible book.
That book I actually bought and never read. I bought the hard copy too.
Do you still have it?
Yeah,
Go read
somewhere. Okay.
Go read it.
All right, might read it.
Great book.
I remember that one was funny because my mom saw that I got it. I think she saw like the red cover, House of Hades.
Oh, and
she's like, I'm gonna read that before you get the opportunity. And I'm like, why? There's nothing bad in it. It's not like one of those books.
Yeah, it's not like you're trying to like conjure up demons or something.
Yeah, nonetheless, she read it and I did not.
Wow. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a great book series. Again, I hate having to like choose
one of something.
Yeah, because I just kind of like them all,
Yeah.
They're
that is fair.
Nice books.
Especially like with reading, there's so many different avenues for learning what a book is about before you read it.
Right.
If you pick up a book that's a crappy book, put it down. Don't read it. There's so many better books.
Like I would don't force yourself to read crappy books unless you're like doing it for school or something.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is there are a lot of crappy books out there,
so many crappy books.
And if you're not able to sift through the bull crap, then you're never going to get to the good stuff.
I'm putting this in the notes. We should just make like a shared note for every podcast, and then we can erase it whenever we're done.
I'm done.
Something that we need to talk about in the AI podcast is about how people are out here writing books purely using AI.
Yeah, that's crazy too. They're writing scripts for things. They're writing all kinds of whatnot using AI. They're writing product reviews using AI.
Exactly.
Crazy stuff, dude.
But yeah, we're not going to get in depth on that here because we haven't done our research. So
yeah,
next episode
there will be a podcast literally about AI. So
correct.
There's no reason to get into that now.
Maybe even more than one. Maybe we'll start with one and then we'll come back in like 6 months and talk about what's changed.
Yeah, especially nowadays, AI is such a rapidly changing subject.
Technology in and of itself. Like,
yeah,
we should probably have at least one podcast a month just to like technology, which half of that's going to be, talking about Apple.
Yeah.
And then the other half, we'll probably have like half it about Apple. Then if we do that, that'll probably be like a 2-hour podcast.
That might be. Well, the thing about it is, are we really going to want to take 1/4 of our month to talk about technology and Apple?
Well, technology just in of itself, just because like that's what I immerse myself in, and I know that's what you probably immerse yourself in, seeing as you're a computer science major.
True.
So
you will find me heavily immersed in technology.
It's kind of what we live and breathe at this point.
Yeah, true. So I guess it doesn't make sense not to have that being 1/4 of our month.
Yeah, and then the rest, we talk about reading.
There we go.
And other things like that.
Yeah, I was thinking today, actually, just along those same lines. Like, what can we talk about that we're both, like, kind of involved in? Because the fact is, if we're talking about a subject that neither of us really like, nobody wants to watch
Well,
that podcast.
Yeah, well, we're probably not going to talk about it.
Yeah, we probably
If
aren't
being
going to
honest.
talk about it.
Which is why we have this list of our podcast ideas. You know?
Beautiful.
Oh, I forgot to share this note with you. Let me go share this other note with you.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have 3 shared notes coming in
Well,
your way.
believe it or not, we're actually quite a few minutes in.
We are many minutes in. It is wild.
So, what do we need to wrap up?
So we've talked about a lot of things, but our main thing that we were talking about was reading. So we talked about, I guess, what you like to read, and I talked about what I like to read. Is there anything else you want to mention there
No.
in terms of
I
reading?
think I've talked about it. I've given you my favorite book. Maybe in the future I'll give you some of my other books. Maybe we'll do like a book club or something.
Maybe once every couple months, we come back and say, hey, here's what
Here's
we've
what
been
we've
reading.
read in these couple months.
So I guess me and you should probably keep track of what we read and keep track of the most interesting things that we read so that we can share the interesting stuff. Because really, we're all about sharing the knowledge. We are not perfect, so we don't always share perfect knowledge, but that's what links the internet is for. And as I put in the bottom of the description in the pilot episode, that'll probably end up being in all of them, I have a disclaimer like, hey, don't trust what you hear on the internet, like just off of some. Don't trust what you hear someone say on the internet. Take it with a large grain of salt and do your own research. Which is why I put the links down there, because we will get stuff wrong.
Yeah, take our podcast especially with a rock of salt.
Yeah, big old chunk of salt.
Yeah.
And do your own research, because we just merely give you the ideas, and you got to go out there and confirm the facts. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And then base your own opinions off the facts.
And maybe we'll do like a podcast about how to do research.
That actually would be an incredible podcast. Given the fact that we're both highly researched individuals.
Yes.
Yeah. I've got a lot of techniques for that. I have had to do so many different papers in college and so many different research projects so far. I'm pretty proficient at it. So that one specifically, yeah. Did you already add it to the note?
Yep, I just added it.
Yeah, we're going to put a pin in that one and square back.
Yes, we are. You know what? That might be our thing now.
Yeah. I do like that. Put a
Toss
pin in
the
it and
in
square back.
and square back, baby.
And guess what? It was on the pod where y'all heard the origin.
Absolutely wonderful.
Beautiful.
So we've talked about anime, reading. We
Little
talked
bit of
about
Apple snuck its way in there.
Apple always sneaks its way in there. We really didn't like tie that end off. I just kind of brought up some stuff.
Yeah.
But those ends will be tied eventually, which is why we need to like have a dedicated podcast for technology, because otherwise it's just gonna sneak its way in there when it shouldn't be in there.
Exactly.
Although we could have talked about like technology and reading, and how they
How they combine.
how to combine, but that'll probably be largely mentioned in the AI episode.
Yeah. And the technology episode.
Yes.
Thinking about it now, it's kind of dumb to think that having 1/4 of our episodes being taken by technology is a bad thing, because we already have the AI episode planned, and then we'd have another technology episode in that same. So we're just going to have a technology episode a month.
Yeah, it's
the bottom line.
It's just gonna have to be what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That is like someone who is willing to say that is a dangerous individual, because they're willing to just deal with whatever happens and do whatever it takes.
Yeah. Flexible individuals are dangerous.
Yes.
Not to be trifled with.
Not to be trifled with.
Yeah, man. Well, I guess with that, we've wrapped it up.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else to say.
So don't forget to like and subscribe.
And be sure to hit the bell and to leave a comment down below. By the way, this week's comment topic, in case it slipped your mind, is to comment whether or not you read and what you read.
So drop that comment below. And this has been the Minimum Wage Podcast, where even the name is above our pay grade. Peace.